guys. If you've been keeping up, then you know that I just rearranged my room. So now my couch is in my closet, and I'm not the biggest fan that you guys can see my closet. I'm also feeling like really nervous. So don't do a lot of sit down videos. So I'm just like, am I gonna be interesting enough for y'all to want to watch this? Anyways, I hope you guys have been having a great 2024. I've actually been sick for the last few days. Today is like the first day in a while where I actually woke up feeling alive. So I haven't had much time to brainstorm an idea for Friday's video. So I thought it'd be kind of fun and easy for me to do a sit down chit chat type video. And what better way to do it than a Q&A? So full transparency, I asked you guys to ask me questions back in like freaking June, July. I can't even remember, but it was definitely in the summertime. It's been a while and I've been meaning to like make this video, but every time I do, I just like psych myself out. I get nervous about doing these things. It's just kind of scary. Enough of me stalling, let's get started. The first question is, what does your current playlist consist of? Fuck, okay, this is such a good question. I'm being honest, I really love the playlist that Spotify curates for me. I'm just a lazy music listener, so I'll just listen to whatever is like on my Spotify homepage. But like songs I'm like into right now would be Yes and by Ari, Now That We Don't Talk by Tay Tay, No Thanks I'll Pass by Kylie Daly, that's such a cute song, Did It Twice by Meg D'Angelis, One of Your Girls by Troye Sivan, oh my god, Eras of Us by Fletcher, oh my god, my queen. I have the biggest crush on Fletcher and I want to see her live so badly. And also The Way Things Go by Bia Badoobie. Not to be a pick-me girl, but I saw her live before she got famous. Actually, she was pretty famous at this point, but the ticket was like $30. I love all her songs. Beatopia is like one of my favorite albums ever. I've also been super into like the early 2010s. I'd be listening to like Beauty and the Beat by Justin Bieber and a lot of Selena Gomez songs, so yeah. My music taste is very pop girl, like very mainstream, very pop. Someone asked me, what is my next tattoo? Okay, without saying too much, I'm getting an animal, a face of an animal, and there's me like barbed wires around it. And I'm gonna get that on the back of my leg. I was actually gonna do that earlier this month, but because I thought I was like moving out in February, I really was on a strict budget, so I decided to just get one tattoo. I'll probably be getting that sooner than later. I also want to finish my sleeve, so I kind of want to get something here. Someone asked me, what's your favorite thing about Chicago? I'm from there. My favorite thing about Chicago? Oh my gosh, I loved everything about Chicago. I mean, if it weren't for the winter, I feel like I would have moved there. I think Chicago is such an underrated city. It's so beautiful. There's so much to do. Like the nightlife is really fun. The transit system is great. I mean, it's very, very different from Seattle, but I lived in Chicago for like 9 months and went to school there for a year, and I've made some friends. Well, I have one friend there, Mill, she lives there, and I just visited her like a few months ago. If it weren't for the winter, I feel like I would consider moving there. This question makes me want to go back to Chicago. What did you like and dislike about Starbucks? Where do I even begin? If you don't know already, I used to work at Starbucks for like 5.5 years. I started working there my junior year in high school. I was like 16. So the things I liked about Starbucks would definitely be like the people. You just meet so many people. You make a lot of great friends. There's still friends I still talk to this day, and I left like March 2023. You also gain a lot of great skills, whether that's like multitasking, working as a team, navigating through like difficult customers, and like working through rushes. You just learn a lot, and you'll learn how to be a team player, which I actually think is one of the most important skills to have in life. I genuinely don't think you can succeed in life if you don't know how to be a team player. So that's probably like my biggest takeaway from Starbucks was like I met a lot of different people. I worked with a lot of different people, a lot of different personalities. They also had a lot of great benefits. You know, they paid for my therapy. I'm still on my dad's insurance, so I didn't do insurance through them, but they paid for like my math credit 1 year, so that was awesome. And I would say like when I wasn't burnout, I really did enjoy my job. It was like a very fun environment. And things I disliked about working at Starbucks, you are working for a corporation, so you're not always going to agree with the things they do, especially right now. A lot of people are upset with Starbucks. Aside from the boycott that's happening too, I haven't had Starbucks in months. I genuinely think I've only purchased Starbucks maybe twice since I quit, and I quit the company like 10 months ago. So I don't really consume Starbucks. Even if the boycott wasn't happening, I probably would not consume Starbucks. Not because I think the food or drinks are bad, but I just worked there for so long, like it's just not, nothing about it really excites me. I also think burnout was very, very easy at Starbucks just because they would cut hours all the time, especially during really busy seasons. And if you had a shitty manager, you get like inconsistent hours. Someone also asked, what was your favorite drink to make? Definitely a nice try. Someone asked, would you ever dye your hair a dark color? By the way, I love you. Steph, I love you too. Yes. Well, I'm currently in my basic white girl era, okay? I am bleaching my hair. I've had blonde hair for like 3-4 years. I did go back brunette a few months ago. It's up on my YouTube. I did love it a lot, but we're here now. But I definitely had a phase where I was dyeing my hair darker. My natural hair color is like a dark brown. It's brunette with a lot of red tones, and I hated having red tones. So like senior of high school, I would dye my hair a dark brown, but that would wash out pretty fast. So in college, my freshman year, I would actually box dye my hair black. So I had black hair for like 10 months and I fucking loved it. I love having black hair. My mom has black hair, so I just always wanted to like have similar hair to her. I felt very Japanese and close to my culture, which was really nice. But now that I've gone to the dark side and I've turned into a basic white girl, I don't know. Give it a few years and I'm sure I'll go back to brunette. I don't know if I'll ever dye my hair black. Allison J97. Oh my god, I love you, Allison. What are your plans post-grad / your dream job you're hoping for? That is a great question. I am still in school. As of now, for winter quarter, I did decide to take a break. I really want to finish my degree. I'm in my 3rd year. I do love school. I really love education. But the reason why I'm taking a break is because I just work too much right now and I'm just so exhausted constantly. Not to give you like a full breakdown of like my college experience just because it'll be so long, but I did go to college fresh out of high school and I was a film student. I had 3 big scholarships, so that's why I went to Chicago, because the tuition was going to be like the same as like going to in-state, and I love filmmaking. Like that was my passion, that was what I wanted to do. But my mental health was very, very bad my freshman year in college. I had SI like constantly. It was a really difficult year. I had a lot of things like coming up. So then I came back to Seattle and like for 2 years I just struggled a lot with what I wanted to major in. I didn't know what I wanted my career to be, so I would take classes here and there, and then last winter I actually finished my associate's degree and I'm currently in a bachelor's program, but I'm taking a break right now. Like I mentioned, I wasn't the biggest fan of my bachelor's program. I didn't completely agree with the curriculum, so I just wasn't super happy with it. So I might just transfer college, honestly, which I've transferred so many colleges, but I just don't think I'm in a place right now to focus on my degree. There's just so many other things I want to do right now and I'm very, very much content, and my entire family is very supportive of me, so I have the privilege of being able to kind of like take a break and focus on other things. With that said, I do really want to finish my degree, and not right now, definitely like in my 30s. I want to go to grad school. I either want to go into family marriage therapy or mental health counseling, and after I get my license, I really want to work with adolescent girls, or honestly any gender, but just adolescents. I haven't really thought that deep into it, but I do know that I want to work in like counseling and therapy, so that might be like a school counselor, that might be a therapist, I'm not sure. My dream job would just be working in like the mental health area and therapy and trauma and all that with adolescents. And ever since I was like a child, people were always like, you remind me of a school counselor. I never knew whether to take that as a compliment or not, but yeah. Someone asked me, what helps you deal with being alone / loneliness? That is such a great question. Everyone is very different. We all have different needs. I think I deal with loneliness pretty well just because I had a pretty lonely childhood. I'm not sure how deep I'll go into it, but after my mom went back to Japan after my parents' divorce, the family dynamic changed pretty significantly. We were always a very like happy family, and then after she left, I had my dad and he had to take care of 3 kids and he worked a lot and he worked long hours. So all in all, like no one's fault, but I think the house just, slowly and gradually just got very, very dark and lonely. I spent a lot of my time in my room, and my oldest brother was going to college. My middle brother caused a lot of chaos in the house. He dabbled a lot with like drugs and suspensions and all that kind of stuff. So being in the house just sucked, and I felt alone 24/7. I spent majority of my time in my room watching YouTube videos, and it wasn't like that all the time, like my family now, we're great. We're all like very supportive of each other. We have family movie nights like almost every night. Not to say it's perfect. I don't think I'm like compatible to live with my family at all. We definitely argue all the time, but we all just matured and grown up, and I think we give each other a lot of grace. But I think having that lonely childhood kind of led me to become very hyper independent. So I've always just done things alone. I'll go to concerts alone. I'll go to movie theaters alone. I've been kind of like doing solo activities since I was like 16, 17, 18. I am definitely that friend in those friend groups where I cancel last minute, or it's very like surprising if I come out. I can be very extroverted, but for the most part I am quite an introverted homebody. Now with that, there were a lot of times where I felt like a complete loser and I felt like I had zero friends just because I would have like isolation periods, or I would just stop responding to friends and whatnot. Especially as adults, like people get into relationships, people get jobs, like people are just busy constantly. And what helped me a lot with like this feeling of loneliness was just watching other content creators on like TikTok or YouTube who like spend a lot of their time alone. It really like took away the shame that I felt from like being alone all the time. Don't feel embarrassed or don't feel shameful that like you feel alone right now. Just start getting comfortable doing like solo activities. Like ask yourself like, why am I feeling embarrassed about it, or why do I feel so much shame around it? I love going on walks and listening to podcasts or music. I love watching movies alone. I love going to the theaters alone. So I would just start kind of like easing into the discomfort and just kind of like work around it. And also if you're kind of missing that like connection with friends, like maybe just reach out, ask them if they want to go for dinner or to see a movie or whatever. I think that's the beauty of like adult friendships. Like you don't have to like constantly talk to one another every single day, but it's nice to like come together every few months and just catch up. There's also a lot of different activities that you can do while also meeting other people. Last year I did hot yoga, and although I didn't really speak with like a lot of the people there, I still felt the human connection. I'm also gonna do like salsa dancing in a few weeks, and I'm really excited about that. The instructor told me that it's a great way to meet friends, so I'm really excited. But those are just my suggestions. I hope that was helpful. Someone asked me, what are your go-to meal prep meals? Right now, I'm definitely not in my meal prep era. One thing I would recommend is if you have the energy to like chop up your vegetables and meal prep everything and put them in containers, do it. I feel the most motivated to do that right after I do my groceries, and I'll just chop everything up and I'll like put them in containers, and that made it really easy for me in the mornings to just make my meals. Someone asked me, how did you build the habits around your morning routine and stay consistent with it? I created my morning routine by watching other people's morning routines. There was a very dark period in my life where it was really hard for me to like get out of bed. I was very depressed. I was sleeping like 12-14 hours a day. I felt clueless and very lost, and it was really hard for me to make a routine. But what I did do is I just started watching other people on TikTok or YouTube and just follow their morning routine, and seeing other people's routines gave me a lot of different examples and inspirations, and that's kind of how I started like curating my own. How I stay consistent with it, I mean every day is like different, but I do know if I wake up and I feel unmotivated, then there are certain things I'm going to do to get myself feeling like inspired. For example, if I wake up and I know that I don't want to do anything and I feel very unmotivated, the first thing that I'm going to do is take a shower. And it might take me like 30 minutes or an hour to actually get in the shower, but once I do it, I feel so much better. And after I take a shower, then I know to moisturize my body, I know to floss, I know to brush my teeth, and it just helps you get out of this like funk. And after that, I usually like to go for a walk, and if there's not much to do, there's not much to do. As for consistency, I just go through a lot of phases with that too. Like I'm human, I'm not perfect, but when you are consistent with something, like you do feel rewarded. So that's something that helps me, especially during my work days. I know that if I wake up earlier, that I'm gonna have a lot more time, I'm not gonna rush, I'm gonna feel a lot better, I'm gonna feel a lot energized, and those little rewards keep me going. And if I'm having a hard time waking up in the morning, then it's probably due to my lack of sleep. It's probably because I was on my phone all night. Someone asked me, how do you manage self-care? Sometimes it feels like a chore. Self-care also looks different for everyone. Just keep it very simple. Just do what you want to do. If you follow other people's routines to the T and do things that you're not enjoying, then you're not going to keep up with it. If you don't really like to do skincare, then don't follow like a 20-step skincare routine. Just keep it very simple. Just wash your face, moisturize, and that's it. Some people love going to the gym and other people love walking. I personally am not a gym person. I love walking, so that's kind of what I do. Remind yourself that everybody's different, so don't copy and paste other people's routine into yours. Just do what you want to do. And if you don't know what you want to do, which was me a few years ago, then just watch other people's routines and just get like inspiration, get examples, and then just make your own. Also, if self-care feels like a chore, that's okay. That's normal. We're human. We get tired. We get exhausted. I fall into slumps all the time. I mean, I was sick this entire weekend. I did not do anything. I didn't wash my face. I didn't brush my teeth. I was literally just like in my bed with my heating pad watching the Kardashians, and I have no regrets. That is totally fine. We are humans. We are exhausted. We are allowed to just like be lazy for a few days. A few of you guys asked me, what's your favorite book? As of now, my favorite book is definitely Fourth Wing. I do have the sequel, and I did start this, okay? I got to like 100 pages, but because I read this in the summertime, I forgot a lot of the characters, so I decided I'm gonna read Fourth Wing again and then just jump into the sequel. The issue is I've been in such a deep book slump. I mean, I'm still reading The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and my friend also lent me the first book to the series of ACOTAR guitar. So there's a lot of books I want to read. The book slump is very real right now. I don't know what to do. Personally, I think I just need to do like a deep social media detox, and I think that's the only way I can get back into books, because I think my dopamine levels are just so whack right now. I think I'm like really addicted to my phone. But Fourth Wing is my favorite book as of now. Also, I'm a brand new reader. I just got into reading this summer, so I haven't read a lot of books. Selena reads. Oh my god, I love you, girl. They asked me, do you like making TikTok or YouTube more? There was a time when I loved making TikTok videos, and I never thought I was ever going to make YouTube videos ever. But things have obviously changed, and I put a lot more focus on my YouTube than my TikToks. So maybe 2 years ago, I would say TikTok, like I loved making it, but now it's definitely YouTube. I just love making long form content. I like both platforms a lot, but I just don't think I'm really good at TikTok. Like, it just doesn't come very natural to me. Like, I wish I could be one of those girlies that just like takes out her phone and just starts vlogging, but I have anxiety. I stutter a lot. I have to like repeat my sentences like over and over again. So I really like YouTube. I love editing YouTube videos. She also asked me favorite snack food. Oh. I'm a huge fan of everything. I love sweets, I love sour things, I like salty things. I love those Asian shrimp chips. I also love Snickers. I love sour candy. I don't know. I love everything. They also asked me, where is your favorite place you've traveled? I've actually been to more countries than like states. Like when we look at the United States, I've only been to Washington, Oregon, Illinois, and Massachusetts, and Tennessee. Country-wise, I've been to Japan. I was born there. Then United States, I live here. Canada, I live very close to Vancouver. I've been to Australia a few times, I think twice. I don't remember any of it because I was a baby. I've been to South Korea, I think twice. Been to Germany, Italy. Those are very random trips. My friends and I, we got tickets for $500 and then we just stayed at hostels. And then I was in Vietnam, which was very fun. I think those are the countries I've been to. Okay, so which one was my favorite? Europe was fun, but my friends and I, we were fighting the entire time. So I don't know. I don't know how to answer this. I've also been to Kauai a few times. Maybe I'll choose Hawaii for now. Someone asked me, how were you able to get a better job and what are you studying in college? How I got my current job is like probably my most asked question right now on TikTok. I'm not avoiding this question because I do see it a lot. It's just a very like long response, so I don't really know how to like condense it. I have a really good friend and I met her through Starbucks. I think she's 10 years older than me, and she has always said to me that I remind her of her when she was my age. I hope I said that right. And she used to be like a Starbucks manager for like 10 years. She was like an incredible manager. I mean, I think she won like the #1 manager in the region. Quite honestly, like probably the best person I know. And when she and I started working at Starbucks, she was no longer a manager. She had like stepped down. And after like a year or two, she finally left Starbucks and got this new job. And for the longest time, she kept asking me to apply for this job. And I don't know why, but I just never did. I was just in a very different place in my life. I was doing school full time. I was working at Starbucks. I also wasn't really ready to leave Starbucks, but fast forward a year or so, a role opened up, and it was the same role that she wanted me to apply for the year before. And when she told me about the opportunity for the second time, I actually denied it again. And then a month goes by and I don't know what really happens, but I texted her out of the blue and I was like, hey, is that job position still open? And she was like, yes, it is. Like, if you want to apply, this is where you go on the website. And I applied, and a month later I got the job. So that's how I got my job as a administrative assistant at an eating disorder clinic. But I had to do like 2 rounds of interviews. It was a whole thing. I was very nervous. I thought I like bombed the first interview. I was so scared, but I passed, and I did my second interview, which was like an hour long. So that's how I got my current job, and that's kind of how I left the food industry. So I think what helped me get this job was connections, a great resume, and a good interview personality. I've worked a lot of different jobs. I worked at Starbucks. I worked at 2 restaurants. I was a caregiver, and I also have a 3.9 GPA. And they also asked me, what am I studying in college? My bachelor's degree is called Behavioral Health Science, but if I were to transfer colleges, I would just get a degree in psychology. Brooke Axton, oh my god, I love you. She asked me, would you recommend Seattle for someone from California? I'm from LA and I want to move. Oh girl, okay. Surprisingly enough, I have a lot of friends from California. There are 2 friends who've been living here for I think 3 years, and I know that they're planning to move back to California because the weather is very different. And I have another friend who moved from California, and she loves Seattle. I love Seattle, but there's a lot of parts about it that I do not like. And I'm also wanting to move out of the state. But if you really like hiking and nature and all that kind of stuff, then I would really recommend Seattle or Portland. And our summers here are so beautiful. Like, I think Seattle summers are quite honestly the best out of the entire country. It's not humid, but it's warm, it's sunny, it's gorgeous. Our summers are undeniably the best. With that said, it does get very dark and gloomy, and you're not gonna see the sun for months. And a lot of times people will move here and the first year they won't get seasonal depression, but after the first year people definitely start to experience seasonal depression. So the weather plays a huge role. I'm so jealous you're from California. I really want to visit LA. A lot of people tell me that they see me as like an LA girly. I don't really know what that means, but my friend just recently moved to California and we're gonna go to LA in a few weeks. Also, Seattle is so expensive. Not to say LA isn't, but Seattle is just changing every year. And Seattle has just been gentrified now. Like, there's so many tech companies, like things are just so expensive. Seattle is also very like segregated. It is a very progressive city, but it's very white. Brooke also asked me, are you into K-pop? If so, what groups do you like? I'm not super into K-pop. I was like a big fan during like the first generation. I do like BTS. I listen to Dynamite like all the time. I mean, I literally have Jimin like right here. I got this when I was in Koreatown in Japan. That's why I have Jimin. But I was a huge fan of Red Velvet. Oh my gosh. I will say though, like I don't really keep up with K-pop. Like I don't really know what's happening. So some may say I'm a fake K-pop fan, but I do appreciate K-pop music. There's a few more questions, but I think I'm just gonna stop for today. I've just been talking for like an hour and a half and my mouth is so dry. And I really wanted to answer everyone's questions, but next time we'll do that, okay? But I hope this video was fun to watch. I hope you guys learned something from me. I seriously appreciate every one of you guys, and thank you so much for like asking me questions. I generally thought I was gonna get like one person to ask me. I was not expecting questions at all when I like posted the poll, and I just want to say I really appreciate it. I've been making YouTube videos for a year now, and I didn't think I was like gonna do that. I really thought I was like gonna give up and just like stop making TikToks and YouTubes, but it's really because of you guys and your constant support. So thank you guys so much. I hope you guys are having a great 2024, and I love you very much, and I'll see you guys very soon. Bye!